People know me construction and making costumes. People know me in hair maker. And some people know me in library because a lot of people don't even know that I'm a trained librarian.
Beijing is leveling, and we could talk about anything, anywhere, anytime. So get your drink, join us, and relax. Well, that's at the same time too. Anything you want to know, it's on the table.
We're at Kofi's Bar on Bay Street with Adzil. I knew you for a while, but I didn't even know you were in a bar, so you must be comfortable.
Well, I normally say that because I find it fits very well. Being born in a bar rather than having to be called to one. So I think that it was quite, and I remember quite a lot at that bar in my heyday. Because my father, they had a grocery and a rum shop, and that is where I grew up. And I had to learn to work. Yeah, in them days you had to put in a health work and get everything together. So the type of people that used to come through the bar, from lawyers to doctors to undertakers, everybody was my father's friend because he was an ex-police, so he knew a wide cadre of people. So you learn a lot at that bar.
Where was it exactly?
In Bashal, on Bashal Main Road.
So young Adzil has to be behind the bar, helping daddy count all that.
Count, pack drinks, do all kinds of things, sell drinks. Because in those days people used to buy, especially at Christmas time, people would buy mixed drinks by the cases. Sometimes if they have occasions, they would come to buy, things by case. And my father, who was also a shareholder in banks, he used to sell a lot of banks. So it used to be an interesting time.
No, you know Kofi for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I know Kofi for a few years, but you all go way back.
Yes, we go.
That's when you chose this spot. So tell me about your friendship with Kofi.
Well, I actually met Kofi through another good friend of mine who introduced me to Kofi, and we got on like as the old people would say, like a house on fire from the time we met. And he and I have built a friendship over years. I can't remember exactly how much years it is, but for quite a while. And I enjoy coming to the shop, and there were times where I didn't in the best of moods, and I come here and Kofi would cheer me up, and he really became a very good friend, in all respects of the life. He has been a very good friend and a very true, honest person.
When I opened the bar is 2013, the 18th of November. Why I decided is in my field, I used to work for a gentleman by the name of Mr. Bernard Barrow. We worked for digging wells for 15 years with the MTW. Okay? And work was getting very slow in that field, that we are not getting work as we accustomed to. So my boss decided to tell me, Kofi, see wells you could do, because right now nothing is not happening. My dream was always to own a restaurant. And I used to always tell him that one day I will be owning a restaurant. And since that work was getting very slow for me, I went to him and I tell him, I think I'm going to branch off on my own and start my own thing. And I decided to start looking for a place. So then I come across this restaurant that I'm in right now in Bay Street. And I come in twice, and the building was very, very bad. And I didn't make up my mind, decide if I'm going to take it or not. So I went back to my father and I told him, and he said, it is a good area. I think you should try it. And that is what I did. And that is how I'm here till now. I mostly serve Guyanese and Barbados food. Is a wide variety of Guyanese food and Barbados. We do macaroni pie. I'm going with the Barbados first. We do macaroni pie. We do scallop potato, cook one saltfish, peas and rice, and other Barbadian food that we do when the day, each day. So every day we change the menu. Okay. Also Guyanese food, we do like cook up rice. That is one of our main Guyanese food. Cook up rice, pepper pot, ground food, what we call provision, it's called metem. That is what we do. What else we do for Guyanese? We do like roti, chicken roti, beef roti. So we do a wide variety, a range of Guyanese food here. It is in Spike Street. That is opposite the Central Bank. It's carried the same name, Coffee Bar Restaurant. It's a very beautiful location. It's very cozy. It's very homey look, because I wanted to when you go in there that you must feel like you're at home. So it has a lot of nice colors, make you to feel at home. That's what all about. So we serve breakfast there and we serve lunch. Apparently the same menu that we do here at Bay Street, we do at Spike Street.
Yeah. Some time ago we were talking about crop over, and all kind of memories came back. Right? All kind of memories came back. And I didn't even realize that you were so involved in the festival from so early.
Yeah, I was in there from an early age, because how we used to do things in that time, and making it sound ever so old. But it's just that Barbados progressed real fast after independence. In then crop over, this started. There really was not. I don't think there was a Ministry of Culture at that point in time. And if there was, it would have just started up. There was definitely no cultural foundation, but that came after Kerry Fest in 81. And that primarily started off with a drive of, at the end of the winter season, we used to have the whole summer with no activity and nothing happening. And I think they decided there were a group of people that decided that let us try and do something to bring people's interest to the island in the off winter months. So there would have been a cadre of people like Julia Marshall, Julia Senior used to be involved in that at the time. The late Jean Holden was people, and they put together and they started this Crop Over Festival and were involved in the planning. It first used to be in June before they moved it to the present time. Because the problem they would have had with it in June, the schools at that time would do their exams, and the school children who would want to be involved, and even some teachers and stuff, it was in the middle exams the whole month of June. So eventually we moved it from June to where it currently is now in the middle of the summer when the children are on vacation.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
So you taught me something. But I know you've been involved in crop over from the creative process even to judging. So tell me what experience stands out for you the most.
I love all areas. I like dealing with people. And from day one, I like culture. So I used to be involved in drama from as young as my early days at primary school at Lindsay Hall. And then when I went to Common Mare, I went into the drama group from there, and I stayed there until I left school. But I was always involved in stuff like that. I always liked doing things like that. I don't know which part of the family I took after. I think it's my mother's side who were artistic people in that area. And all aspects I enjoyed. I enjoyed creating costumes. In the early days, I used to make the costumes. And you would have a group of friends, and I would have done that with the late Robert Weeks, a lot of costumes with them. And each person would pick a design for a section, and they went out and get their group of friends. That's how it was put together before there was band houses. And my group of friends would gather at my house with the section. Everybody, the seamstress would measure, you would make the body pieces, and then Robert would go around from house to house showing them how to decorate the pieces. So everybody gathered. So really and truly, it was a collective effort. When you got to the road of Kadooment there, everybody took pride in the costume because everybody had made the costume. We have now gone away from that. When we order costumes, people come and pay for them, get them in a little box though, and there's so much less of material now. And everybody, the focus has changed. It's more about enjoying themselves rather than creating the mass.
So what do you think that Can we ever get back to that aspect of it?
I don't know. There's some things that you leave, you don't know that you will never really go back to. It's nice to talk about it as history, but obviously the generations have changed about how they see things and how they look at things. And although it would be nice, I don't think that the younger generation we have now really would want to go back to making costumes. We found it fun because we didn't have anything else. The younger generation now have so much things. They have all the multimedia, they have all these other things going on. So in our time, there really wasn't nothing else to do. So the greatest fun of getting to Kaduma Day was that you were out at nights during the week making costume and things. Now people are doing all kinds of things, so they ain't got the time with that. They just want to buy the product, have it finished, and go on the day and enjoy themselves. So the focus has changed.
I hope someday that I could be a part of a costume class. I see, if I could earn some sort of special talent that I didn't know that I had. Who knows?
But the thing is, with that, probably it can still work in a way, but it has to do with training. What as I used to say, what you practice, you preach. And the focus now would be for the foundation. I've seen them started doing that, is doing workshops in the primary schools. You have to now train the young minds to want to be creative. Because we lost a few generations by spoon feeding them and giving them everything. So they don't want to do anything now. But for us to get back to constructing the masks and designing the masks and wire bending, they will have to teach that from primary school levels. That's where they will have to start, because they are the next generation of revelers, and they will have to like it from there. So that all of them will not like it, but some of them will come out and be able to use these old techniques to create new and different types of costumes.
I think at your age, you are designing uniforms.
Yeah, at my school, but I had a fetish for fashion.
Well, you had it?
Yeah, I still do.
You don't have a fetish for fashion. So
I tell you, it was involved in everything. There was no we didn't have no hand devices, no nothing.
There you go.
You had to create your own entertainment.
So that's the uniform as we know it today.
Yeah, I did that. I did the Common Mary uniform when I was in my final year at Common Mary, when I was about to depart. That happened so strange. The late Charlie Pilgrim, who was one of the former headmasters, he was deputy then when I was there. And I remember he was in hot argument with the ministry about providing the bathrooms, because this school that has traditionally been a boys' school all the years, now taking in girls for the first time, and no bathrooms, because you can't put these young girls to go into the boys' bathroom. And the term was coming to an end, and they hadn't even dug the foundation or do anything yet. So Mr. Pilgrim was a little annoyed and said, if you don't get these bathrooms ready come September, he will not be accepting these girls. So I happened to be in the office when he was talking about it. And after he hung up, I said to him, you are talking about the bathrooms, but I haven't heard anybody give any consideration to what these girls going to vary. All in a storm over these girls coming. Because first, you would have had teachers there that never taught girls in their life, both male and female, because they were always at a boys' school. So this was a whole traumatic change for them. And he paused and said, well, really, this is true. I never thought of that. So at that point, I offered to come up with something, and he said, certainly go ahead. And I went ahead with the female. I designed it, sat with the female body of teachers and ratified it, and that's what we have now.
Nice shit, nice neat belt and everything. So it worked fine. They're still wearing it?
And they're still wearing it all these years later.
Still wearing it. So most people know you for hair and makeup.
Different people know. As I say, when people ask me what I do, I normally reply by saying I am different things to different people, because it depends on what stage of your life that you met me. Some people know me for horticulture and doing flower arranging when I was in that phase. People know me designing. People know me constructing and making costumes. People know me in hair and makeup. And some people know me in library, because a lot of people don't even know that I'm a trained librarian. But that was one of the first things that I did.
Well, let me start there. You are literally an open book, so let's start there.
So when I first at school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I went back to Common there to hold on in library for them there. And while I was holding on, the guy that was the librarian at the time, he left. So Mr. Belgram, George Belgram, who was chairman of the governing body at the time, said, well, since this place is vacant, you could, fill the post as assistant librarian here at the school. But I said I really didn't know anything about library, but they're set up to send me then to public library. So I was trained at public library under Betty Carrillo and that lot. So I went to the public library and I was trained in cataloging and all the different things there. So I really then reorganized the library and set up, worked that from there. And then Corinne Braffett, who I think is still there now, she took over from me when I left in 81, when I went into the airline industry. Because that's another area that people know me in. I never thought that I would have left it.
The airline industry?
The airline industry.
What? Wow. I mean, and both have changed so much because, so many things are being digitized.
Yes.
I know the travel industry has also changed quite a bit as well.
Quite a bit.
Right.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because when I was in the airline industry, I think I segment into that. Those were the days where we had to construct our own fares. There were these big OAG manuals that you let someone come to the counter, they're traveling from here to Manchester, whatever it is, and they want a ticket. You had to be able to sit down and construct that fare. Now you go on a computer and it tell you everything. The fare there, the advertise. We had to go through and you had to know what you were doing, and you had to go to all these British Airways, different airlines to offer ticketing courses. I worked for Civil Air Service in the beginning, and we used to go on a lot of the British Airways ticketing courses to London and stuff like that. But if you made a mistake on a ticket, on the charge, it coming over your salary, and the salaries were not big in those days. So you had to make sure that when you did the calculation and the lead agent checked it after that and see that it was correct, that when you ticketing, you can check it. Because if you make a mistake and I sold you a ticket and you're gone, there's no way that I can get back in contact with you to get the money. So, and I gotta be paid somehow. And the day you used to write it off, you had to pay a zero salary.
I hope that never happened to you.
No, it didn't.
Just checking.
No, it didn't. You had to. So that's what I'm saying. That things have changed so much. No, because you have staff at the airline company. As I said, they do everything by computer. And I'm sure you've experienced it. If you go to the airline ticket counter now, and the computer down, to sit down and look at you, we can't have you got the computer down. You got to wait for these computer service to come back up. We had to do everything manually, including write tickets. So it's a whole different era.
But you also were outside of Barbados. So how was that?
Yes. When I studied in New York, I worked in New York for a while. I taught at one of the schools I went to, which is the Christine Valley School for Aesthetics and Makeup and stuff. I was the only Black person teaching there. And I taught there, and one of the makeup tutors there, she was involved in theater and film, so she used to drag me with her everywhere. So I ended up working on stuff on Off-Broadway and shows like Showboat and Cats, assisting with them. I ended up doing some low-budget movies. I did one called Drunks that would have featured people like Faye Dunaway and Spalding Gray and Howard Rollins, who used to play Mr. Tibbs in The Heat of the Night. So I ended up on movie sets with these people. It was just so unbelievable. Some days I used to pitch myself and wonder, but this can't be really happening. This little boy from in Barbados, now on sets with people like Faye Dunaway, people that you sit down and look at on the screen. You are in the same room with these people, working on them in makeup artistry. It was really a moving experience.
Well, did you ever feel, because you were the only Black person teaching at the time, did you ever feel alone, or was it something that kind of motivated you to do more?
No, it motivated me. Funny enough, you would think so, but I was fortunate. I think all the people that I encountered in my years in North America were good to me. So, and I never, coming from West Indies and coming from the father that I come from, I was never a racist person. I know there are racist people and I knew racism existed, But I don't see people for color, and I just deal with them as people. And I think people dealt with me the same way. So I at no point really felt uncomfortable in any way for the time that I spent working in North America.
Well, we could talk all day long. Don't want to bring the conversation to the end at all. But we come full circle. We come full circle because you're born in a bar. And we always say that beside every rum shop, there's a church.
Yeah.
And there's a spiritual side to you as well.
Yeah, I just completed my degree, Bachelor of Arts in Theology, between College and the University of West Indies. So I'm waiting now graduation come October. So I did that out of curiosity. That was one of the things that was on my bucket list all the years. Because you go to church, you get your teaching from church and Sunday school, from the matriarchs in the neighborhood, and everybody will give you their spiel. The priest on Sundays will give you his spiel. And, there's that song that said there are more questions than answers, and the more you find out, the less you know. I was curious, and I said, the only way that you can get answers to some of the things that you're unsure about is to go and do the course, go to the head of the spring. The water is always clear out there. So go out there and see what's happening. So I enrolled at college. Funny now, if I didn't go to the degree, I just said I'll do the diploma. But inquiring after I do the diploma, what would be the next step? If I wanted to do more, and they said the only thing would be the degree. So then when I further asked if I would have been credited, any credit for doing the diploma, I was told no. So at that point, and at that stage of my life, there was no point doing a diploma for 18 months, then to come back to do a degree for 5 years. So I jumped in at the deep end, as usual, and tried to swim. So here I am. I clearly made it to the other side because I was still here.
Doing that kind of program calls for a lot of reflection.
Actually,
open-minded.
And what happened, the whole process is they had to because what you are taught at church and what, depending, because they're different religions, there's a big difference between spirituality and religion. So each religion have their own doctrines that they will teach you. So what you will be taught, depending on what religion you belong to, they had to deconstruct you to reconstruct you. So it made you more open-minded, more spiritually connected, and more accepting to the different denominations. Because we would have touched on all the different things, like the Baptist, the Hindu, all of those. So you get to understand their way of operating and accept it, that that's the way they worship, so that you don't have any biases or any kind of thing against them for what they do. Everybody have their own way. So at the end, you realize that it is really, religion is religion. And that came about that every time someone follow over doctrine, they will leave and set up another church elsewhere under whatever movement it is. And that is still going on today. So if you look back at a lot of the churches, a lot of them have been broke off. Power in the Blood. We have all these Abundant Life assemblies. They broke off, I think, from the one there in Bishop Court Hill, People's Cathedral. So you get spin-offs, and then you got New Dimensions that broke off, and then so every time there is a difference in doctrine, they move on and have their own principle. Everybody will have people that will follow them because they're gonna believe what they want to believe. But people's spirituality is a very important thing. I'm more dealing with your spirituality. You really need to be connected spiritually, because this journey that we are on here is really not nothing eternal. We pass it through here and we gotta leave this earth. So there's no point fighting for something that it didn't bring and nothing that you can't take with you. So I think the more that we calm down and we work with each other, it would be such a better world to work in. But some people, because of not understanding their purpose and not rooted deeply in their spirituality, miss the whole bus and try to make their whole life existence about what is going on in the world today. And that's why I think we have so much stress and so much problems, because people stress out themselves unnecessarily.
It is true. We were just talking about that. Sometimes it's how you answer people.
Yeah.
It's how you approach people that makes all the difference. But I really enjoyed this conversation. You gotta give your boy Kevin a shout out for the
I gotta get Kevin a shout out for the shirt.
The shirt is fantastic. Got you looking real good.
Yeah, Kevin is my other designer guy. He does quite a few of my pieces of clothes now. Kevin Small. That's what I mean. That would have won designer the last year that we would have done Kaduma. We would have won for I think the big band and the children's band. So you don't only design costumes, he also does clothes.
There you go. Yeah, Kevin is awesome. So cheers. This is an awesome local drink done by coffee staff.
Yes.
I think it's mango, five finger,
and
carrot or something.
With carrot.
It tastes good though.
And pineapple. It has a good flavor and it has good body.
So guys, you gotta try it.
Cheers to General Coffee.
Yes. Cheers to General Coffee. Thank you.
Okay.